China is on the decline, not rise. There are six reasons that show that China is on the decline, not rise. Pei Dirk Center for International and Strategic Studies at Claremont McKenna College. China's rapid economic growth can cause different chaos, such as environmental problems, rising bad bank loan, vicious power struggle, and super cheap labor. As my opponent has said, China's rise could cause good things, but it can also cause chaos and trouble. It could cause environmental problems because if China is rising, they have lots of money, so that they could build lots of cities and improve their technologies. So it will cause lots of factory pollution problems around the city. The disconnect between the brewing troubles in China and the seemingly unshakable perception of Chinese strength persists even though the U.S. media accurately cover China. The current economic slowdown in Beijing is neither cyclical nor the result of weak external demand for Chinese goods. China's private sector, systemic inefficiency and lack of innovation, a rapacious ruling elite, interested solely in self-enrichment, and the perpetuation of its privileges. Yet even for those who follow China, the prevailing wisdom is that though China has entered a rough patch, its fundamentals remain strong.
You have to do crossfire next.
Americans' domestic perceptions influence how they see their rivals. It is no coincidence that the period in the 1970s and the late 1980s when Americans missed signs of rivals' decline corresponded with intense dissatisfaction with U.S. performance. Today, a China whose growth rate is falling from 10 to 8% a year looks pretty good in comparison with the U.S., where annual growth are below 2% and unemployment stays above 8%. In the eyes of many Americans, things may be bad. In the eyes of many Americans think that China may be bad over, but then Americans are actually China's rapid economy rate produces long-term problems in the U.S. If China balances its rapidly growing economy, it could outrun and overpower the rest of the world. In the medium run, China's weaknesses may also pose a bigger challenge than its strengths. In order to reach superpower status, China must overcome numerous domestic hurdles. It must accommodate the legitimate political aspirations of long-suppressed ethnic and religious minorities. It must overcome the demographic curse imposed by its one-child policy. It must deal with corruption, mismanagement, and the perceived extravagances of its pampered ruling class. It must unwind a real estate bubble that may be as daunting as the one that struck the U.S. economy. If you have more kids in China, you have to pay more money. You have to pay more money to the government, which causes
Time. Crossfire. Jennifer gets to ask the first question. Stand up. Ready, go.
What's your opinion about that China isn't rising, that it has risen?
I think that China is actually rising because the city is actually improving, so it actually shows that the country's economy is rising. And now China has more factories and buildings. And the technology and education is also improving. So it shows that the country's economy is growth rate is actually rising each year.
No, you ask the question.
Oh. Um, sorry. How can China's what's some of the reasons that China's economic rate is actually rising? What's some reasons that show that China's economic rate is actually rising?
Like,
Time.